Library Out Loud updates you all about the fun and interesting things going on in the Spokane County Library District. Sponsored by STCU and the Spokane County Library District. Library Out Loud updates you all about the fun and interesting things going on in the Spokane County Library District. Sponsored by STCU and the Spokane County Library District.
Good morning and welcome to Library Out Loud. I'm Jane Baker with the Spokane County Library District. We have exciting news at the district to talk about today. We have expanded hours coming this Sunday, and we also have a lot of new Gale digital resources. We're going to get to talking about that with my guests who have joined me today. I have Doug Stumbo, who is the Operations Director for the district. Thanks for being here, Doug.
Happy to be here, Jane. Good morning.
Good morning. And also we have Carlie Hoffman, Digital Services Manager, and we're going to be talking about the digital services a little later on. Thank you for joining me today, Carlie.
Thank you.
All right, so let's get into talking about new hours. They start Sunday,
Yep.
October 3rd.
Yep.
And that's this Sunday.
That is this Sunday.
Yeah, October kind of snuck in there really quick.
It's here.
didn't it?
It's here.
It did. So new hours are expanded hours. They're almost back to the pre-pandemic hours.
Yeah, as a matter of fact, this is sort of the final, whatever that means. But this is we've come back fully with all of our hours now, starting this Sunday, October 3rd. Hours obviously were tremendously impacted 18, 19 months ago when everything had to shut down, and we've been slowly making our way back with opening a little bit more and more during various stages of this. But actually, this Sunday, all hours are restored. They're a little bit different. We had the opportunity to change a little based on some staffing and some usage statistics that we'd been looking at. You know, we look at things like, you know, when pre-pandemic, when people were coming in, and then of course post-pandemic, how are people utilizing the library? And those sort of door counts and usage statistics help inform us when our community's best when our library is open. Of course, you combine that with the resources we have and our wonderful staff to be able to be at the libraries and keep them open. And so for a lot of our libraries, there'll be some familiar hours, some changes in some of our libraries, but I think for us, probably the biggest thing is Sunday hours are restored. So at 6 of our libraries, we have Sunday hours. So that's been something we haven't been able to do over the last 19 months. So we're really happy to have that back out, that extra additional weekend for visitors, particularly families or people who are working most of the regular work week.
Sure.
So
sure.
yeah, we're excited about those.
Yeah, excited to have those hours. So all of the hours are listed on our website at scld.org. And I see the guys have that up on the screen. That's great. So you can see your individual, your neighborhood library and what those hours are. But there are a few changes based on those statistics and usage patterns. Let's highlight a couple of those changes.
Yeah.
So one place that had Sunday hours pre-pandemic that will not with the new hours on Sunday is Airway Heights.
Yeah, Airway Heights. Airway Heights was one of our libraries that had Sunday hours, and in looking at both the usage and how the community accesses those resources, we actually aren't going to be open on Sundays, but we do open another hour, a couple hours during the week, during the evenings. Found that better weekday evening hours was better fit for that community.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
And the other library that has some changes that way is Medical Lake. Yeah, we're talking about the West Plains there.
Yep.
Just a minor change there. On Tuesdays, they'll close at 6 instead of 8
Instead of 8 o'clock, yeah.
And then our bookend, the bookend in the Spokane Valley Mall, that will mirror mall hours.
Yeah, that will mirror mall hours, and as you mentioned, all of these are listed on the website and the SCLD app. And what's important to note about the mall hours is that the mall, as with many other establishments, have been working to restore or change their hours. So we're trying to mirror those as best we can. So those hours are mirroring the mall hours, which gives them a little bit later opening time, but a little bit later closing time on most days than some of our other libraries. So again, check that, and we obviously will update that as the mall hours may change as well.
Sure. They've been changing. Hours have changed everywhere.
Yes, they
but
have.
I think it'll be great to have the bookend open the same hours as the mall.
Sundays included.
Yeah. Now, I think one of the big items in the hour change is at Spokane Valley and North Spokane.
Yep. At both of those libraries, one of the things we did look at and has been really something we've thought about is moving the hours to opening just a little bit earlier. So both of those libraries will now open at 9 a.m. And that we think is actually a good fit for those communities based on the usage. They'll be open from 9 to 8 Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday, and then 9 to 6 Friday, Saturday, and then 1 to 5 on Sunday, both of those libraries. And that actually helps us because we've been getting a lot of comments from people who come and use the library. Gosh, it'd be great if you could be open an hour earlier.
Sure.
We looked at the statistics about the usage in what had been our last hour and decided, you know what, we can make this adjustment. We can meet that community need. It'll also give us the opportunity to maybe try a couple of more things a little earlier in the day as far as programming, particularly with some of our younger audiences. So keep the eye out for that as we're able to get back into that maybe later into 2022.
I know when I tell people that there are often lines outside of the library before we open at 10, and people are surprised. But so was I. I remember when I very first started working for the district, it was like, wow, people are lined up outside in the morning waiting for those doors to open at 10 o'clock. So I think a 9 a.m. opening at those two locations is going to be welcomed.
Yeah, agreed.
Yeah, that's great. So then meeting rooms. We have meeting rooms at almost all of our locations.
Almost all of our locations.
And those are available to the public.
They are.
And they are free of charge. But there's some changes there too. What's going on with the meeting rooms?
Yeah, so with the meeting rooms, one of the things is we've slowly brought some of the services back after being closed for a while is meeting room reservations had to be done in person, and that helped us sort of keep track because we've had some other we've had to use our meeting rooms for some other needs during the partial closures and whatnot. So people have had to go in or call directly. We are making it accessible back on the website, so you can make a reservation through the website. Meeting rooms will be available depending on library use. So if the library needs to use it for a program or for some other need, it may not be available. But if we aren't using it, it's open to the public, reservations, and those can be done on the website. We are offering those during library open hours. We one of the things we've learned over this past couple of year and a half, I suppose, is how those public spaces can be both offered and then also managed. It's been a bit of a crazy time. I think everybody is very well aware of that.
Yes.
And one of the things we're working with in that new environment is how do we offer these, but still keep those sort of mindful pieces of information that we've learned over the last 18 months in hand when we look at how we offer the services now. So offering the meeting rooms during open hours, you can check with your local library. Also beginning, I believe we'll turn it on the 4th,
Which is
but the online
Monday.
reservation, you'll be able to check, reserve your room, see which ones are available. And of course, as always, if you have any questions, give us a call or come into your library and we'll be happy to help you.
Yes, that's great. So visit us in person. Give us a call.
Yep.
And beginning Monday, you can once again reserve our
Reserve
meeting
online.
rooms online. That's exciting.
Yeah.
It's exciting. It feels like a little bit of movement back to normal, whatever normal was, and it's a good thing. It's
Yeah.
a good thing to get the libraries
And
opened again.
actually, Jane's, that reminds me, speaking of the meeting rooms, one of the things we were able to accomplish with those meeting rooms during the closure, we took advantage of that time, and we've upgraded all of the AV offerings in those meeting rooms. So
Yes.
all of our meeting rooms now have some sort of either screen or projector, and then the ability for people to, presenters or whatnot, to plug in their devices to be projected up on the screen and then share their sound. So that was a bit of an upgrade that we were able to do while those meeting rooms were closed to the public. So I think as people come back and utilize their meeting rooms, they'll find some additional support with that AV equipment.
Yeah, those are some nice upgrades.
Yeah, they are.
That is one thing we did do at the district during closures, is we did a lot of upgrades and behind the scenes stuff that,
Yeah.
So when people are returning, they're going to see some nice surprises.
Yeah.
Yes, I did see the meeting room at Argonne, and I
Yes.
was impressed. It was like, wow, where'd that come from? That was pretty cool. And part of that was related to the levy that was
Yes,
passed.
it was.
So-
That was definitely one of those projects that we were able to do through the successful levy that was the voters approved in 2019.
So once again, thank you, voters, for that.
Thank you.
And come on into the library and check out all the stuff that you helped us install there.
Yeah.
So that's great. We can't go past this without mentioning the masks. Masks are required
Yep.
in the library, whether you're vaccinated or not, ages 5 and over, correct?
Yep.
That masks are required. State mandate, we have to follow the rules.
Yeah.
So just for me personally, our staff are doing their jobs. They're just doing their jobs. They're doing what they're told. So give them a break. Put the mask on for a few minutes. It's all
Yeah,
right.
we really appreciate the members of the community and their desire to use the library and to work with us to help do what we can to make sure that we keep the libraries open, that we're able to follow that indoor public spaces mandate that's in effect right now. And by wearing the masks, that not only follows that mandate, but that helps us be able to stay open.
Yes.
Now, for those who can't wear a mask or are choosing not to, we have services available that our curbside service is a great one, where you can pull right up and you can place, regardless of using the curbside service or not, our app, SCLD,
Yes.
libraries, and our website, scld.org, you can always order your materials online. You'll get a notification when they get there. You pull up into one of the curbside pickup slots, call the number on the sign, and we will bring that right out to you. And we can offer a variety of services, either digitally or through curbside, if that works for you as well.
Yep, we provided access for everybody
Yep.
in however they're most comfortable with.
Absolutely.
Great information. Doug, thank you for coming in today and talking about the new hours and the meeting room and these exciting changes at the district. Looking forward to it.
Well, thank you, Jane.
All right. We're going to take a quick break, and we're going to be back and talk with Carlie about these fabulous new Gale Resources. We'll be right back on Library Out Loud.
What? You haven't been to the library lately? Stop in today and see that the library is more than books. Spokane County Library District facilities feature on-site technology, including Wi-Fi, computers, and printers, as well as free use of meeting rooms. The Library District offers events and programs for all ages, from story times to career development and employer classes to Social Security workshops. Our staff is well trained and happy to help. Find out more about your library at SCLD.org.
And welcome back to Library Out Loud. I'm Jane Baker. It's the Spokane County Library District. We're talking about digital services. We have Carlie Hoffman with us today, our digital services manager, and we're talking about a whole bunch of brand new digital services that you will be amazed and impressed by, or at least I was, right?
I was.
All right, Carlie, thanks for joining us here today. These resources come from a company called Gale.
Yep.
And we have some other Gale resources as well already in our digital library, I believe. We have the Gale resources, Udemy, and there was another one too. Oh, Demographics Now.
Yep, Demographics Now, also Science in Context, Biography in Context, Opposing Viewpoints. So we had all of those prior to the launch of this whole new suite of Gale resources.
So the new suite of resources will be helpful not only for the people that have already used those ones you just mentioned, but these are new ones that will help with businesses and research and news and students and people just looking for general knowledge.
Yeah, there's something for everyone.
There is. How many are there that are new?
There's 15 brand new resources.
15 new ones. And these were made available through the Washington State Library's statewide database licensing project.
Yes.
That was a mouthful.
Yes, it is a mouthful. So,
What was that all about?
yeah, so the Washington State Library, every year they go out to bid and they contact all these different library vendors that they provide digital research content and get quotes from them to see who has the best package and what's the most cost effective. And this year they chose Gale, and how they choose it is based on the number of resources offered and the pricing, and the more libraries that sign up to purchase these products, the less it costs for everyone. So we got a great deal on these resources because basically the entire state decided to buy into it.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah.
Nice group discount.
Yeah, it is. It is very nice discount.
And you may not, I don't know if you know this one, is Spokane Public also one of the libraries that is part of this?
Yes.
Okay.
Yep.
So these resources are available for in-district people, meaning you have to live in our service area and have a library card with us. But if you don't, you live in the city of Spokane, you can still access these
Yep,
resources
absolutely.
through Spokane Public Library.
Yep.
That's great. That's great to have them available for everyone.
Everyone.
Yes. All right. So let's start talking about some of a few of these. There are, like you said, 15.
15, yeah.
Yes. Let's start with some of the business ones. There was a couple of business ones.
Yes, I know. We both needed our
We needed
our
cheat
reference
sheets
sheets.
here
Yeah.
because there were so many. We have Global Business Insights, or Gale Business Insights Global.
Right.
And Gale Business Entrepreneurship.
Mm-hmm.
These are exciting. Talk about these a little bit.
So the Gale Business Insights Global, this is great for entrepreneurs, business researchers, and students. And it would be really helpful for people who are trying to determine what kind of business maybe to invest in. It's got some wonderful information about different companies. You can even put in types of business. You know, they ask ASIC, I think it is the business code.
Oh, yes.
And even stock tickers, you can compare countries and their GDPs and different industries. So that's a big, wide view of business.
Yeah.
And then the entrepreneur is more of the narrower view for the individual, and it includes things like how to do payroll, or even just if you're just starting, how to write a business plan. And it has tons of resources for people on any spectrum of where they are in their business path.
So if you have an idea that you want to start your own business, you could look at that. Or
Yep.
if you've already got a business going and
You need marketing help, things like that.
that's great. And those are both, and they're free of charge, free access,
Free.
and a huge amount of information. So those are great. For research and news, there's a Gale One File News, and let's see, a couple others of like those. And I love these. I was on yesterday and read a whole bunch of articles in the Washington Post and some of those sites that
Yep.
are gated.
Yes.
You need to have a subscription.
Yeah, you know, and once you hit your limit of the freebies that you get with your New York Times or your Washington Post free subscription, that you're allowed a couple of articles on their website. Well, you can bounce over to our website and read the rest of the articles. There's no moratorium on the days, so it's immediately accessible. So I even checked this morning, September 30th, and there were the Washington Post and New York Times articles free of charge. You can read them.
Yeah.
Full text.
Well, I was preparing for today and was testing out the site a bit, and I looked up, Rolling Stone
Yep.
and Mother Earth News, and there were issues all the way back, and I was having a great time. So that was a lot of fun to get in
Yeah.
to actually see, as well as informative at the same time. So that one's great. It, again, was called Gale One File News.
Yep.
So, yeah. Then there's a general one file. How is that one a little different?
Well, the news one is focused mostly on newspapers, and the general one file includes more of like trade papers, and it's a little bit less of the fun stuff, I guess, if you consider news fun. It includes a little bit more.
Sure. So you could, look up Billboard magazine or something like that for a trade paper. Or,
Yeah.
Depends on which trade you're in.
Yeah,
I suppose.
exactly.
So it's worth getting in there and checking around for that. And then there's an academic one file.
Yes.
Yeah,
And that's the scholarly stuff. So now you're really getting into the Journal of Engineering or the Journal of Medicine, things like that.
great information for students there, I would think, for sure. Okay, what else do we have? Oh, and we also have a version of that in Spanish and Portuguese.
Yes. And it's completely, I can't really tell you what it says because I don't speak or read either of those languages, but yes, it is purely academic and trade newspaper and newspaper articles in those languages.
And I noted that it said that it wasn't just simply an English
No,
translation.
it is the papers from those countries.
From those countries. So that's fabulous.
Yes.
That is really fabulous. I'm very excited that we're offering more and more world language things at
Yes,
the
we are.
district. So that's nice to see. Okay, one's for general knowledge. There's Gale ebooks. We can't get enough ebooks.
Yeah.
And then there would be encyclopedias, reference,
Yep.
all that kind of
There's
stuff.
actually a lot of children's material in the ebooks. So nonfiction, a few fiction, but the kids love to learn about animals. And then these are nice because it's got the pictures and it's more, you can turn the page.
That sounds great,
Yeah.
especially for the kids. There's also health and wellness.
Yep.
And a lit finder. And I was blown away that there was 132,000 full text poems.
Yes.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow, that's great. So that's under the Gale Literature Lit Finder. And then, of course, there was the health and wellness we mentioned. And then another one about global issues. This is another one I played around with a little bit yesterday. You could find out information about all kinds of
Yeah.
things. And not just from the U.S., but you could read about things happening on the other side of the world. I looked up climate change, and there was articles about Iran and India.
Yeah, and then you can focus in on the different ways that that subject is discussed in different places around the world.
That great information. And then for students, we know the kids are back in school,
Yeah.
and with October being here, it's time to really hit the grind as far as the school goes. We have several for the different age groups.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's really nice. They divided it up by where you are in your academic career. So there's one for elementary, middle school, high school, and college students. And they're age-appropriate materials for each one. So if you go into any of those different resources, you might find the same topic in each one, but the material that you'll be presented with would be more appropriate for the age. And some of the topics in elementary are, more narrow. They're not going to be getting into the nitty-gritty of climate. They might talk more about weather and the shape of clouds and things that you would be interested in elementary school. And as you progress up the academic chain of the resources, they get more complex in their topics, in the treatment of the topics, and more kinds of resources. So instead of just magazines and newspapers and elementary style books, once you get to middle school, you might start to see things like the New York Times. And then once you get to high school, you're going to see way less of the younger age appropriate stuff and much more getting into the newspapers and academic stuff. So once you hit college, it's mostly going to be
More scholarly.
more scholarly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And what's nice about each of those is the way that they present it on the page. You can narrow down right away. You can see this is a newspaper article, this is a magazine article. They even have a lot of videos. If there's a video, let's say that the New York Times had put on their website about climate change, and it'll, you can click the video button, it takes you right there, and you can watch the video right there inside the resource.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Very
so
nice.
it's more than just reading all the time. You also get to watch and listen. There's podcasts.
A few other media formats there. That's great. Great information. And that's great for teachers too.
Yes. Yeah. And that's the other thing with their curricular standard. How do I want to say that? They align with the curricular standards of
Gotcha.
the, I don't know if it's
Testing.
the state. Yeah. Yeah.
The state requirements and things like
Yeah.
that.
Common Core and all of
Yeah,
that.
yeah. I know that some of our staff, the librarians, work with some of the schools and the teachers and things like that. So that's great that this is also available for teachers to use this
Yeah.
information too. And
There's actually one that's just for, now I have to go back to my cheat sheets to see. It is called Educator's Reference, and that is just for people who are. It's more in administration. But it's focused just on your schools and making sure that. Sorry, I got distracted.
the administrative. type.
Educators, administrators, and education students.
Gotcha. And then if there's teachers or educators out there that are listening and want to know more, please call the
Oh, yeah,
library.
absolutely.
Yeah, we'd be happy to walk you through it and find out how to get access for yourself and your classrooms. Of all of those digital favorites, I have to ask you, because I know this is your world and you're in there all the time, which one of these new Gale Resources is your favorite?
Which is my favorite. I think I like the One File, the One File News, because it's just so up to date, and it's so frustrating because I really like to read news, and I hit my limit on the free stuff so quickly in the month. So yeah, it's really nice to go in there. I'll see, what's the best time to exercise in the day? And the New York Times will have an article, and I go to read it, and I can't read it. And so I just hop on over, and then I'm like, oh, okay, I can get this.
Yes. Yeah, I agree. I think that's my favorite one too.
Yeah.
Like I said, I got in there yesterday and was looking at it, and I could have spent all day in there looking at the different things and reading different articles and access to things that I never had access to
Yeah.
before. So that's fabulous. And again, it doesn't cost anything. So
Right.
yes, just a library card. So that's great. Carlie, thank you for joining me and talking about those today. And Doug, thank you for joining me and talking about the hours and changes. There's always something exciting going on at the Spokane County Library District. All right.
Thanks, Jane.
And for that, we've run out of time. For Library Out Loud, I'm Jane Baker, and I look forward to seeing you next time.